As the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children comes to an end tomorrow, the fight to protect children continues. Mazi Asset Management, as well as the National Center for Child Protection, have joined hands to raise funds for this cause. Proceeds from this initiative will go towards accelerating services of the National Child Line. For a broader conversation on this, we are now joined by Mazi Asset Management CEO Malungelo Zilimbola. Good to have you on the program, Malungelo. Firstly, can you elaborate on Mazi Asset Management's collaboration with the National Center for Child Protection as well as the Bazala Cycling Club?
Thank you, Mr. Sehume, and to the viewers for having Mazi Asset Management on the program. Yes, indeed, as we commemorate the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children, Mazi Asset Management, as a good citizen, has joined forces with Bazala Cycling Group in order to raise funds for the National Center of Child Protection. So what has happened is that as Mazi being the sponsor of Bazala Cycling, we've raised funds from the Mazi Asset Management side of things. And as and when they embarked on races, there are a few cycling races that they embarked on, one in Johannesburg and one in Cape Town. And in those cycling races, we've raised awareness and raised funds for the National Center of Child Protection.
Speak to us a bit more about what inspired your commitment to child protection initiatives.
Absolutely. Mazi, as an asset manager, we're a boutique asset manager that manages funds for individuals as well as institutional funds, like retirement funds. And in the manner that we manage these funds, we manage them in a responsible and sustainable way. We apply what we call ESG, which is environment, social, and governance. In that ESG, within that the S has actually been neglected. For us, we look to do more on the society, which is the S, looking at the issues, the societal issues that are haunting our country, issues of violence, especially violence against women and children. As far as children are concerned, our constitution is very clear that children have got right to be protected against malice, against neglect, against abuse, any form of abuse and degradation. And for us as a business, we are a good corporate citizen. We look into our society and our community in order to bring about positive impact. And children, because are the most vulnerable in our society, that's really what triggered this for us to embark on this violence against children.
Mr. Zilimbola, the Cycle for Children campaign is quite unique in its approach to fundraising. How does Mazi Asset Management then envision the impact of these funds on the day-to-day operations of the National Center for Child Protection?
Absolutely. I think for us the most important thing is to raise awareness. And awareness means that we're calling out men out there, we're calling out corporates and organizations to stand up and get involved in this good cause. And it's not only about money, it's about awareness. And as far as money is concerned, for us, we want to capacitate the National Center of Child Protection. We want to capacitate them with more counselors that will help in counseling these young people that are going through abuse, that are being neglected. And for us, it's both in terms of really encouraging corporates out there and men in particular to stand up and also just to put the money where the mouth is in terms of supporting this good cause. And for us, it's about the next generation. If we neglect our children, we're neglecting the next generation. And we want to make sure that the future of our children are secured going forward.
So Mazi Asset Management sponsored the Bazala Cycling Club in events such as the 947 Ride Joburg Grace Day, raising about 31,000 Rand. Could you share more about the outcomes of this initiative and what further goals you have for the future events like the double century on the 25th of November?
Absolutely. And by the way, the 31,000 was raised in the 94.7 in Johannesburg. And we've actually raised further funds when the guys did the double century in Cape Town, in Solendam. And the amount is actually sitting at about 96,000 rands and is growing because we have not stopped asking for donations. And we think that the amount will be much higher than 100,000 rands. So yes, it was a 31,000 around the 94.7, but the amount is growing. And we thank the donors, we thank everybody that's participating, and we think that we can raise much more money.
So your commitment to environmental, social, corporate governance as well, these initiatives are quite commendable. How does supporting child protection align with Mazi Asset Management's broader ECG goals? And what role do you believe businesses play in social responsibility as well?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, so the S in the ESG is quite important because it deals with the societal issues. And as you know, South Africa, with a bad history coming out of apartheid, there's many social ills, in our country, whether we're talking about unemployment, especially youth unemployment, whether we talk about, unemployment, starvation and poverty, we talk about inequality. I think that our country needs much more intervention in the S, more than your environment and the governance, given just the background of South Africa having come from such a bad history.
So one article also mentions the change in Childline's hotline to 116. How crucial is it for communities and families to be aware of such changes as well?
It's very important, and the number is quite easy, and especially, it goes in line with the 16 days, of activism for no violence against women and children. So the number had to be easy. Children must remember it, and in order to, when they need help, to contact, the counselors to be able to intervene. So the change of the number is very important for the awareness of the communities, and the number is quite easy for everybody to understand, or rather to remember, and especially children, because these are the target. Absolutely.
And also in the same breath, how does it then contribute to Childline's mission here in the country and across African countries as well, or other African countries?
Absolutely. It helps because one other thing that I've not mentioned is also child trafficking, which is not only affecting South Africa, but it's also affecting our region. You're quite right about the African continent and our region, where there has to be much awareness in terms of protecting children against child trafficking and those kind of ills. So definitely it's not only for South Africa, but it's for awareness across the continent, across the region, as well as globally. Our children are traveling, in different countries. We have to make sure that child trafficking is actually dealt with in a very firm and hard way.
Let me thank you for your time. That's Malungelo Zilimbola for shedding light on Mazi Asset Management's impactful collaboration with the National Center of Child Protection. It is quite inspiring to see businesses taking a proactive role in supporting crucial causes such as this one.